program today is on the issue of, keeping romance alive in your marriage. A big deal, Karen, is, we've been married for a long time, many years. And we have a romantic marriage. We have a good marriage. We don't have a perfect marriage, but we have a great marriage. And whenever romance ends in your relationship, it's a dangerous thing, is you have to work at keeping romance alive. So that's what we're talking about on today's program, and you've got some questions from viewers. I
do. When my wife and I married, it was so wonderful. We couldn't wait to be together. Now we can barely stand each other. Needs going unmet is the norm. How do we get this back on track? Well,
he should. And, when you change, your marriage changes. And when you have a stalemate, what causes a stalemate in a relationship is basically two people who believe the other person is the problem. And that's really never true, is your spouse is never all of the problem. Right. And if you believe that your spouse is all of the problem, you feel like you're a victim and there's nothing you can do. But this man is saying, we used to love to be together, and now the marriage is stale, and what can we do? You can work. Marriage is work. Is one of the laws of marriage, Genesis 2:24, for this cause a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife. And the word cleave there means work. And a lot of people believe if they marry their soulmate, if they married the right person, that they wouldn't have to work at the relationship. That's just not true. And so you have to roll your sleeves up. You have to work at meeting each other's needs. He's saying that needs are going unmet. Meet her needs. Go into her world and meet her needs. And when you go into her world and you begin to meet her needs, the marriage changes. You can redeem your wife. You can redeem your husband. But the worst thing that you can do when you get into this circumstance is to withdraw, just to get mad and just sit there and wait for your spouse to change. You can pray. You can pursue your spouse. You can meet their needs, because it's the law of sowing and reaping. Jesus said, given it will be given to you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. It'll be poured into your lap. And the context there was love. Yeah. He said, love your enemies, pray for those who spitefully use you, bless those who curse you. And he said, whenever you give, it's going to be given back to you. So what are you sowing into your spouse? What are you giving to your spouse? And that really is the answer. When you're waiting for your spouse to change, you really are being irresponsible. You need to do your very best to redeem them and to meet their needs. And when you do that, you're doing all that you can do.
Well, I was sitting there thinking the man could be, maybe he should just, obviously there's always something that keeps a couple from, when they get in this rut, and it's, there's an arrogance, and then there's a laziness, that comes along. And I was just sitting there, he ought to just start, courting her, or acting like he's starting to date her, and just go back to just the dating principles of, hey, call her up and say, hey, would you like to go out tonight? And I'll pick you up at such and such time, and treat each other like it's a whole new thing. And
when people have affairs, what happens is they get into this mindset, and they think they're stuck with the wrong person, and they find this person over here that they go pity pat for, and they start having this infatuation.
They could have done it with each other.
Well, they could have done that with each other.
Exactly.
But inevitably, what happens is they get back to, with that new person, if it takes its course, they get back to the place where they have to work at the relationship.
And I think things substitute each other. Like, we get so caught up in watching TV or watching Dallas Cowboys. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Don't you ever take their name.
I knew that would be a little flenching.
Now, you just crossed the line with me, lady.
But seriously, we do. We get in a rut. Yeah. Okay, second question. Before you get upset, how can I help my husband be more romantic with me? He believes that his job romancing me is done since we've been married for years. If I tell him exactly what to do, that spoils the romance. Please help.
Well, you really need to answer this question, Karen, but honestly, praying for him, meeting his needs, and lovingly communicating, what she desires. But really the most important thing I think she can do is pray for him.
Well, I agree. And then I remember I used to be the one that pursued the romance. And, sometimes husbands just don't get it, and don't be offended.
It's true.
It's not because you can't. It's just that I think there's just like a wire that's missing. And sometimes I just need a little help. And so I can remember that I used to be the one that would initiate, and I would, plan special, times.
You did. You're great at it.
Meet you at the door, and say, are you ready? And, it's just fun things you can think of doing, and just kind of give them the ideas, and then say, it's your turn next, and say, you plan this week. If I plan this week, what I loved about what we do is he'd say, okay, it's my night, and I get to say what I want. And then
And that was a lot different than your night.
Yeah,
Better
and then
in
I
my
said, okay,
opinion.
we'll do your way, and then we're going to do my way.
Yeah.
So,
it was great. You were very good, Karen, about coming into my world, about pursuing me, and about not barking at me and telling me what I wasn't doing, but loving me and helping me to do it. And I agree with what this lady said. If you have to keep telling a person what to do, that's no fun. But she can come into his world and, be as fun and adventurous and sexual as she can be, win her husband over as she prays for him, and that's really all that she can do. But if she doesn't do that, and if she just, kind of goes into her corner and gets angry, no one's fighting for the marriage. And this is what you did, Karen. You fought for our marriage. And really and truly, I mean, some people might look at our marriage and think, oh my gosh, you guys have always been happy. We were miserable. We were on the brink of divorce. And honestly, I have a wonderful wife to thank for being married today because she prayed for me. She loved me, and she stood up to me and told me the truth also.
Thank you for joining us. Experience the life-changing series, The Indestructible Marriage, on CD or DVD. Looking for your next great book? Start reading instantly with Marriage Today's ebooks, now available online. Marriage Today's latest book, Happy Happy Love, will supercharge your marriage with practical tips, wisdom, and inspiration for every stage of marriage. Visit happylovebook.com. Follow your interests and get social by connecting with Jimmy and Karen and the Ministry of Marriage Today on Twitter. Become a rock-solid partner today and equip yourself with the tools you need for a successful marriage. $14, $28, or $56 per month. Choose the partnership level that's right for you. Become a rock-solid partner today.